Hello. Um, the allergy season this year is particularly bad for me. But I heard on the news last night that it's bad for pretty much everybody that suffers it. I'm about to sneeze right now. I'm not usually hit this bad with them, so it must be really bad, especially today. I thought I would try and do Marcs Tag on my way home. One of his questions is, if you had to get across town, which would you prefer, subway or taxi? I actually have never taken either. I've never ridden in a taxi that I can recall, or have I ever ridden a subway in an inner city. I've taken a train into Chicago, but I've never ridden a subway train in an inner city. So I think I would probably prefer the taxi, although it would depend on what city I was in. Like cities in Japan are quite orderly and clean, although I've heard some horror stories about how jam-packed the subway trains are. You are contorted in an odd position and standing up the whole time because there's so many people packed in there. I think I would probably prefer taxi, because I'm not a big people person anyway. Okay, another one of his questions is similar to a question that I was going to pose but never did. I was going to pose a question related to the FBI tactic, like when they have a standoff, like they did with David Koresh and all those, whatever they were, not gang, cult people, hold up in a compound somewhere and they want to flush them out non-violently. They sometimes will blast some obnoxious song really loud and play it over and over and over again in the hopes that it drives the people that are holed up inside crazy, and they sort of beg to come out. They can't stand it anymore. I was going to ask what song would drive you crazy in that situation, and what song would backfire and you could listen to forever. But I haven't asked that question yet. I'm kind of asking it now, so if you feel like replying to it, you can. But Mark's question was, if you have a long car trip, which would you rather listen to exclusively? I'm not wording it the same way he did. Music or a radio talk? This is a difficult one for me because I enjoy both, and I sometimes have a short attention span, get bored easily. But I think what I would say in this case right now, if I can pick the show, I'm not sure if his question said that we could pick the show. If I can pick the show, I would choose probably to listen to a marathon of Stephanie Miller's show, because I find her hysterical, and it keeps me informed. And I can't get it anymore. The station that used to air it doesn't air it anymore. Now it airs some Eastern European speaking thing. So I don't know where she went or when her show is on, and I miss it. Okay, his last question was, now let me think. I might have to go look at it. Be back. A good question, and I don't know how I would answer it. Should we bring back extinct species? There's a couple back there that were taking a picture of themselves next to a flowering crab tree. Should we bring back extinct species like the woolly mammoth? That, especially ones that human beings have caused to go extinct. We're not talking about dinosaurs like Jurassic Park here. We're talking about the ones that human beings have caused to go extinct. In that case, I say yes, as long as we can guarantee a viable breeding population for them. Otherwise, it's going to be fruitless. No pun intended. I mean, you're talking about trying to recreate an entire species from how many samples of DNA? Is that even possible? Without them, inbreeding? You have to have so many different diverse DNA samples in order for an entire species to procreate and remain genetically sound. So I don't even know if we have enough samples to do that with. That I don't know what recorded and what didn't. I got a phone call in the middle of my speech. I don't know if we have enough samples of creatures that are endangered or that are becoming extinct, enough DNA samples to make recreating an entire species possible. If we can, then yeah, I'm all for it. For the ones that human beings caused to go extinct. But for ones that went extinct, say like the dinosaurs, I say probably not. I would love to see one, and it might be fun for that and educational for that point of view. But I agree with the premise kind of Jurassic Park, that these species had their shot on the earth, and for whatever reason nature chose, this is almost a direct quote from the movie, I think, nature chose that they bow out, and if we reintroduce them it might create havoc even to our own detriment. But for the ones that we've caused to become extinct, that should be here and aren't, I say why not, as long as we can guarantee a genetically sound population. If we can't, then I'm almost for saying don't do that. Spend the money on solving some of our problems that we've got. Okay, thanks for the questions, Mark, and I'd better go. Bye.